This presentation considers one of the most powerful and one of the most controversial ways of measuring a child's educational potential, the statistic known as lowercase g. Francis Galton's book Hereditary Genius is really the beginning of a systematic study of the inheritance of educational attainment. It is a curious book, largely built on investigating families that contain one or more recognisably talented person, usually male. Look at this example from the book of the Darwin family, which starts with Erasmus as the head of the family, and then traces his descendants, discussing their recognisable talents. Charles Darwin, of course, is in there and is mentioned as a notable naturalist. Darwin was, of course, Francis Galton's cousin. However, the book is more than merely a list of qualitative anecdotes. It does include attempts to measure the degree of kinship running between individuals in key families. However, what was needed was a much more systematic and, from Galton's point of view, more rigorous approach. This led Galton and his followers, including Charles Spearman and James Cattell, to try and find a way of measuring the potential of people who were talented and potentially outstanding scientists. This was viewed as being important for the healthy and prosperous advancement of a technological society. The assumption was that these characteristics could be measured objectively and reliably, and that people could be ranked correctly on their scores for these metrics. This laid the foundation for psychometrics, which still exists today. Early on, Galton had recognised that people's scores on written tests and examinations tended to follow approximately normal distributions, in just the same way as other complex characteristics like height. And if the data consistently fell into the pattern of a normal distribution, then it could be analysed and evaluated using statistical techniques. This led to the development of many new techniques like variance, standard deviation, correlation, and ultimately multivariate techniques like factor analysis. Psychometrics was built on the methodological principles established by Galton, Pearson and Cattell. The use of large data sets, an approach based on correlation and regression, fitting theoretical statistical models to data sets, and assessing the goodness of fit of these models. Selecting, wherever possible, the simplest model that fits the data, assuming that this is a valid approach. However, as the statistician Harvey Goldstein pointed out, such rigorous application of statistical methods excludes wider social considerations from the analyses. Such models are built around an analysis of populations, but when they are then applied to individuals within that populations, the fit of the model is not always exact. In passing, we saw this in the summer of 2020 with the application of an algorithm to try and predict A-level results in England. One of the major landmarks of psychometrics was the development of general intelligence by Charles Spearman in 1904. He argued that there was a general intelligence which could be measured objectively in all people of all cultures and races, and which was a stable measurement from childhood throughout life. This was called G and written with a lowercase letter. Spearman thought that little g is considered to be the main cause of the differences between children at school, which can be ranked in order of the test scores. Note the use of the word control in the sentence above. And the statistic G was not linked to the ability to take tests or the amount of effort shown by students in their work in school. It's worth noting the boldness and the audacity of this claim. Human geneticists usually make very strong, almost dogmatic statements about the reliability of their own work. Spearman is arguing here that a complex characteristic like human general intelligence or human ability or educational potential can be reduced to a single statistic, which is stable and reliable and which can be applied to individuals in order to rank them and then use them for some form of selection. This claim is bold. It's one example among many that we will encounter in the next few sessions.